One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Oh my freaking God. We made it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a Topless Taco Tuesday. Great to see everybody in the building, man. Great to see everyone. We have a crazy lineup, as you guys know, that we were reporting yesterday on Trump that is going to be attending the General Assembly today, and we do have that ready for you guys. We also have a whole bunch of other news that happened throughout the last 23 hours. We're going to show you guys all that, but the way that I have this labeled is Trump participates in UN General Assembly and more, and that is going to be the primary focus today. We do have some side notes that are happening today as well. Is, for instance, Trump is to sign a TikTok deal giving U.S. majority ownership, so there's an update on the whole TikTok ordeal, and of course, that's something we've been following as well. Then we also have Palestinian statehood recognized by major Western nations, and that's truly the biggest part. They've been recognized. Palestine has been recognized by most of the Arabic world. Actually, I think all of the Arabic world. But when it comes to major Western nations such as UK, France, basically Europe and stuff like that. And then we have Canada, we have Australia. All of these are definitely they're not actually helping the situation. They're only throwing gas into the fire, which is not a good thing. Then we're going to be talking about Putin and regards to Russia over there. Putin says Russia will stick to nuclear arms pact for another year. I'm not really sure what that all entails. We're going to, find that out together. Then regarding the UN General Assembly, we have that. We also have some breaking news that is happening as of a couple of hours ago. U.S. Secret Service dismantles threat against world leaders. I'm not really sure about what that's all about either, because I haven't had the time to be able to watch that, but that was just as of a couple of hours ago. Then Rubio says UN has no, let's see here. It just keeps messing up here. Rubio says UN has no role as Trump attends United Nations General Assembly, which I do agree with, by the way. They don't really have a fucking role. And then we're going to be talking about Trump right after all of that lineup. Then Trump is going to be speaking live over there at the UN General Assembly over there in New York. So that is our lineup for the morning. Just wanted to shout that out and let you guys know what is in queue for the morning. Before we get into it, man, make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. And you know what else is free is hitting that subscribe button. But here comes the money part. Please consider becoming a member starting only at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is the way that we get to stay afloat here and do our Monday through Saturday ordeal, well, Monday through Friday reporting, and then members only for you guys on Saturday. And it's only because of you guys that join up as members and stay members for real. Little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, great way to get a hold of me one-on-one is right here on Instagram. We also have a Discord. Make sure you guys join up in the Discord server. We have the link that may be thrown into the chat for you guys right now, but we also have it in description box down below of every single live video that we do. So make sure you guys get the invite link for Discord. And last but not least, every super chat, super sticker, gifted membership signups, all of these things are going to be presented live. And of course, shout it out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash.
Oh my God!
We have these platforms right here that you guys can donate to. And of course, I will read them out loud and shout them out right away. And so we've got our email right, ready to go. Anyways, great to see everyone in the building, man. We have a lot of you guys already pouring in. We got Papa Penguin in here, my man. It looks like he's over there in the Dominican Republic. Yes, sir. Great to see my man over there enjoying life. We got Rabbit of Chaos as well as Steve Posey. I agree with that, by the way, that statement. We got Rebecca as well up there in Canada. Great to see you. We got Anson, my man. Great to see you as well. We got Biker Babe as well as America Uncensored. Good morning. We got Gary as well. Steve Posey, my brother, my man. Great to see you. Saying good morning. Good morning. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well, man. We got Brother So Loud as well over there from the boondocks of North Carolina, my man, as well as Sick Bastard and Frank Samatero. Great to see you guys. Vanguard Zip Tie, my man. Great to see you, Zip Tie. Thank you for being here and hanging out with us this morning, man. We also have Rob's neighbor. Appreciate you, as well as KP. All right, you guys, we're about to get into this. Yes, I do have my left-handed tobacco ready to rock and roll on deck. Don't worry. You know that I'm not, an amateur on this, right? Anyways, back to this. We're going to get into this regarding TikTok. We've been following this a little bit. We're not going to play the whole thing, but we are going to get an update of what is happening. As you guys know, I like to do my due diligence and follow along with the different stories that we've been breaking, whether it be in the last month, last couple of months, last week, whatever the case is. We like following these things.
Welcome back. I'm Austin Westfall. Some tech news coming out of the White House today. President Trump expecting to approve a proposed...
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Wow.
Oh my God!
All right, here we
deal
go.
This week that would ensure that TikTok in the United States is majority owned by American investors and keeps user data in a trusted cloud. Let's get the latest from Fox News. I believe this is, Mark Meredith bringing us this report.
TikTok lives on. The Trump administration.
Honestly, I fucking hate TikTok. But do I think it should be banned? No, I don't think it should be banned. That's why now that we see this whole thing going on, we knew that this was a whole ploy, essentially banning TikTok and all that, just for the U.S. government to be able to get their hands on it, right? That is truly what the whole reason actually was. Yes, was it primarily ran and had all their databases and all that shit over there in China? Of course. And why do you think that the U.S. government got involved? Because they want their hand in the mix, right? Every single major social media, all of that shit is owned by America, Americans, and they all have their foot in the game, except for TikTok. And so now this is why the whole legal thing, the ban, all of that was employed to be able to make this exact move happen right here, which we're seeing. Wolfine, by the way, coming in with the 27 Swedish saying, Jazz Tobacco, our counterclockwise tobacco, is about to be in use. Yes, sir. Thank you for that. Making that shit rain out your cup. Very much appreciate
The
that.
popular social media platform will remain in business as it announces a deal to transfer
Why
the
are you
app
gay?
from Chinese company ByteDance to U.S. ownership.
This is great news, not just for the millions of American youth who use TikTok. Their data will be safe and secure with this new deal. They'll continue to use this very fun app.
For years, Washington has wrestled with how to
It is not a fun app, Caroline Levitt. You don't need to lie to the public like that to kick it. Come on.
salvage the app while keeping its successful but addictive content recommendation algorithm. Under this new deal, cloud computing firm Oracle will provide app security in the U.S., operating a form of the algorithm outside of ByteDance's
What's up, Prez? Good morning.
control.
They're going to get a copy of the code from the Chinese for some fee. Then they're going to go in and strip out all of the spyware and guarantee to members of Congress.
Now, Mr. Wonderful has really been on top of the game regarding this whole TikTok shit. He's actually very, very in tune and keen with a lot of the situations, man.
Of which there are many China hawks, that they can monitor every packet of information leaving the server and say where it's going.
While officials say foreign influence will be removed, the platform will still connect people
I do agree with that. I do agree with that, by the way, Gary.
around the world.
TikTok will remain globally interoperable, meaning TikTok users in the U.S. will be able to see videos posted by users in other countries and vice versa.
Under the agreement, existing investors and
No, it doesn't take your booty, but it definitely takes all your fucking data And then on top of that, it blocks you for anything that you do on there that is normal. Like for me, if I ride my motorcycle on TikTok, like for instance, if I post a video, an already pre-recorded video, not a live video, a pre-recorded video of me riding a motorcycle, guess what? It gets taken down. Harmful, it says I'm doing harmful acts or something like that because I'm an amputee. Man, that sounds like some bullshit. Now, if I was a normal two-legged person, I could ride that motorcycle just fine on there. And you see the discrimination against us one-legged people? We don't have it so easy out here. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh,
shit.
And a group of new U.S. backers would together own...
And I wasn't joking about that, by the way. I've had it happen multiple times to me on TikTok, which is actually what made me quit the app.
Roughly 80% of the company.
Really great people, very prominent people. And they're also American patriots. You know, they love this country. So I think they're going to do a really good job.
And if you're already a TikTok user, you won't see any major changes. The ownership transfer is designed to be seamless, so you shouldn't have to download a new version of the app. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox.
Yeah, I think it was harmful and dangerous behavior. I think that's what it stated, Blair. And this happened, this is not like a one-time thing that it happened to me. It happened multiple times. I'm talking like 3, 4, 5 times. And then I was like, you know what, fuck this thing. Real quick, we got Tiffany Lance up in the building as well. Great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far. Mike, try wearing a pink tutu. Next time they won't take it down that way. That is true. That is true. I believe it.
Why are you gay?
They definitely do enjoy the gays.
You are gay.
All right.
Okay, so there's plenty of news outlets out there saying that this is expected to happen. The Wall Street Journal, though, is putting it this way. They say that they very well do.
Miss Lotus over there in Florida. Great to see you, by the way. Good morning.
Expect that President Trump will sign an executive order approving this deal later this week. So we'll be watching closely. Standing by here is Glenn Gerstill. He's
So this is to be expected to be approved via executive order later this week. Now, the one thing that I really dislike about executive orders is they can be overturned by the next administration that comes in, because it's not law. It's not something that's in place for sure. It's something that only while that administration is around. And on top of that, the next administration, they can't overturn an executive order, but what they can do is write another executive order on top of it to cancel it, essentially. So executive orders, they're good for, being able to get something like this done. But how, after Trump leaves office, how are we going to deal with this problem? Is this problem going to arise again? How is this going to happen?
Formerly served as the general counsel of the National Security Agency. He's here to discuss this.
What's up, Jimmy Mack? And no, we don't care about this guy's takes. We have a lot to get through this morning, and so that's why we're going to go ahead and move ahead. We have a big, long Trump speech that we have to get to over there regarding the UN General Assembly. So we're going to, get through all this. So, Palestinian statehood recognized by major Western nations, and as you guys know, that is, in my opinion, throwing gasoline onto the fire. And we reported on this yesterday. The UK officially recognized Palestine as its own country, as its own state. And France did that as well yesterday. I believe they did it right before the UK or right after the UK. I can't remember. I think it was right after the UK did their announcement. Macron, whatever his name over there in France, came out and also recognized them. Now, Canada has stated that they're going to recognize Palestine as its own state if they don't kind of shape up or whatever the case is. So they just said they were going to. Now, Canada is next pretty much on the list, as well as Australia. Those are the two that are essentially going to be doing this.
Let's talk about Palestinian statehood. This is something that we talk about often. This is a facet of the Israel-Hamas war that we cover.
Definitely.
On the weekly. Here's some reporting from the UN. They say...
Here goes our left-handed tobacco, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe I've made it already 14 and a half minutes without it. Listen. You can blame the craziness in the world, bro. All right, now we're good.
Quote, statehood for the Palestinians is a right, not a reward. At the UN General Assembly, Antonio Guterres calls on world leaders to ensure the two-state solution prevails for the people of Israel, Palestine, and all of humanity. So,
the whole two-state solution, it failed. It's not going to happen. I don't care what any of these guys in the UN say. Whatever Netanyahu is doing right now, that's essentially what is going to happen. I don't care what any of these other world leaders think or say or have an opinion about, or the UN saying that this needs to happen, this needs to happen. No, it's not going to happen. That's what I'm telling you. It's not going to happen.
We've been following I'll just call it the UNGA,
I honestly don't know why they even fucking try.
UN General Assembly, closely. Something that's taking place in New York.
All politics, bro. Politics and money.
A number of world leaders attending it this week. A number of major Western nations also this week are officially recognizing a Palestinian state. Some of the countries included.
That's right, Mountain Woman. I feel that. I feel that for sure. We got brother TVT in the building as well. My man, great to see you up there in Canada. Hopefully you're enjoying your Taco Tuesday, your topless Taco Tuesday at that. Real quick, Steve Posey says, the reason the EU recognized Palestine is because of the Muslim influx of inauguration. And I really do. That's something that actually I've been talking about with a couple of buddies of mine off, the stream, as well as even my own father. I believe for Europe as a whole, it's far too late, especially for somewhere like the UK, Germany, shit like that. It's like, you guys allowed this shit to happen. And now you're overrun, and now you can't do shit about it. Like, at least here in the States, the shit was allowed for 4 years. We all know that under the Biden administration, we allowed everybody to come in. But at least we came in after 4 years and stopped that shit. We said, you know what? Fuck all you guys with this bullshit. Get the fuck out. Now, how far deep is the UK and their, I guess the proper word, nonetheless, how many years have they been dealing with this? 15 fucking years of these liberal policies of just allowing any Muslim to come into their country? I mean, they're losing their fucking identity, which is sad. And they will lose their identity. It will happen. I don't care if people call me a conspiracy theorist on all of that. This is how this shit works, bro.
France, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Portugal. Those are just some of the bigger players that are saying that they are or are soon intending to recognize a Palestinian state. This is drawing ire from Israel. In fact, this is how Benjamin Netanyahu is responding to it. He says, quote, I have a clear message to those leaders who recognize a Palestinian state after the terrible massacre of October 7th. You were giving a huge reward to terrorism.
Which is true. They are rewarding terrorism. That is true. And I don't think that we should be rewarding Israel at all either. I'm not saying that one should be favored over the other in that kind of sense. Honestly, I think it's America only. Fuck them. Let them deal with this shit. This is their bullshit. Let them fucking figure it out. Why do we have to be involved, whether it be financially or any of that shit? We shouldn't be involved anywhere in this shit.
I have another message for you. It will not happen. There will not be a Palestinian state west of the Jordan, says Netanyahu. So where does this all go from here? What does it mean? All of this, by the way, coming as the Gaza war approaches its 2-year mark in October. I'll also mention that the United States is not one of the countries that's doing this. Host of the Strap podcast.
Of course it's not. And, it's funny is I actually thought the UK would also never do what they did yesterday. And I think that we discussed that a little bit yesterday. The UK is just, I would say, right below the same level of alliance that the America has with Israel. So it's very interesting to watch the UK totally turn their back on the situation and, like Netanyahu says, is actually reward terrorism at this point.
Kemper is here to break it all down. He's a retired Marine intelligence officer.
No, and I really, really do appreciate Homeboy's, analysis and all this, but I do want to hear just what he says as he comes on. We're not going to listen to the whole thing. I just want to hear his little stats here because he is factual and very good at what he does. And then we'll move into Russia.
Oh, it lost momentum towards the end of the 90s. That was when there were some big terrorist attacks by Hamas.
Okay, that's the 90s. I don't care about none of that shit.
State solution. And if you want to go back to the 1940s, 1947, 48.
No. We don't need to do any of that. I trust me. I already know the ordeal. I know the whole timeline of Israel, bro. Like I would say at least since the 1800s at bare minimum. I've got the timeline,
Canada, Britain, Australia, Portugal, all stepping in and doing the same thing prior to Macron saying that in the General Assembly today. So it's a big shift, and and to say there's a trend line in this direction would be a big understatement.
For these major states to recognize a Palestinian state, does this actually functionally change
I can't wait to watch it, Mountain Woman. We're going to watch that here soon.
anything about the Palestinian territories?
That's the thing. De facto, there's nothing. There's no shift. There's nothing. In fact, it was very interesting. And I think some of this may have actually accelerated this movement. The United States, we host the United Nations as part of that.
Yes, and I have many problems with that. United States hosting the United Nations, which is the opposition, in my opinion. And I even look at shit like NATO as the opposition, even though they're theoretically on quote unquote our side. I look at them as an opposition altogether. You know, the UN, the EU, all this shit, defund it. America should have its money here. Fuck all these organizations that take advantage of all of us U.S. taxpayers. It's bullshit.
We provide visas to various countries around the world, to include countries we really dislike strongly. We will provide visas for their countries to have representation in the United Nations. Technically, there is no Palestinian state. So this year we kind of took an
No, and we know that. This is something that we don't really need to, like, I thought he was going to bring some other facts. I guess they just want to continue the conversation regarding the Palestinian state. And I guess they're putting focus on it. We got Christopher Collins as well, another Alabama's finest in the building. Great to see you, by the way. Good morning. We're going to move on into Putin says Russia will stick to nuclear arms pact for another year. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll go ahead and present it live, and we will discuss it.
All right, let's get into some Russian headlines. Take a look from the Associated Press. Russian President Vladimir Putin says he's ready to adhere to nuclear arms limits for one more year under the last remaining nuclear pact with the United States. It expires in February, and Putin is urging the U.S. to follow suit. Arms control advocates have long voiced concern about the treaty's looming expiration and the lack of dialogue to secure a successor deal, warning about the possibility of a new nuclear arms race and increased risk of a nuclear conflict. National security analyst, retired Marine intelligence officer, and host of the...
So the current nuclear pact that the U.S. has with Russia expires in February.
Trap podcast.
So I'm actually kind of glad that this is happening. That's good.
Hal Kemper, still here with me. Hal, before we get into it, there's going to be people that don't know a lot
What's up, Gunpowder Nitro? Good morning.
about this nuclear pact. What's its purpose?
Well, this is start two. It limits the U.S. and Russia to, I think, 1,550 warheads and then a certain number of missiles as well. That was what I was alluding to in the previous segment when we talked about China. You know, they're getting up to that point where they're going from a few hundred to close to 1,000, and they may end up over 1,000 here at some point in the future. So they're going to have to become part of this dialogue. That's been talked about, too, is expanding these treaties to incorporate China as one of the partners. You may recall that in the war in Ukraine, that Russia just basically dropped the intermediate range ballistic missile treaty that we had with them. And of course, it's been, to say...
What's up, Kara? Hopefully you're enjoying your Taco Tuesday so far this morning. Great to see you
contentious relationship with Russia would be, to put it lightly, since the war kicked off 3 years ago or 3.5 years ago.
Right. We actually reported right when it hit exactly 3 years, and when it hit 1,000 days. I mean, we've been talking about this for a long time.
This one looked like it was probably just going to expire. One thing I will say, though, is Russia doesn't really have the means to do any big expansion of its nuclear weapons capability. In fact, I think its nuclear weapons capability is somewhat derelict and neglected for the most part. And so for them to continue the treaty at least puts out the impression that they have the number of missiles that are capable of actually firing if they were to actually do that. So there's no reason for them not to. And if...
What's up, brother Lee Lance up there in Tennessee, my man? Great to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday as well, my man.
It creates the impression there's a constructive dialogue with the U.S. I think that would fit what Putin wants. I think for us, we're going to have to take a look at it. We're going to have to take a look at anything, not the least of which is with this Golden Dome concept. I think that may have implications in our overall treaty construct that's dealing with the Russians. Golden Dome, the idea is that we can stop ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, anything, drones, long-range drones, from hitting the U.S. That was something, if you go back to the original SALT treaty, strategic arms limitation talks, that was something that we eventually worked out with the Russians, that we wouldn't pursue this thing. If you recall, there was that Star Wars program under President Reagan in the 80s, which was actually more show than actual technology to stop to stop.
What's up, brother Bob? We're gonna let him talk for another maybe minute, and then we're gonna basically talk about Trump over there arrives for the UN General Assembly, which is in New York City, by the way. I believe it's in Manhattan, and we're gonna be showing off not this next clip, but we're definitely going to be talking about what the idea of what is happening today, and then we're going to get into it with Trump making the speech.
Basically a nuclear onslaught from Russia, but it did what we wanted to do, which was to get them to the negotiating table and to negotiate away certain things. And so I think we may have an opportunity here to work with where Russia wants to go, but also take a look at where we want to go.
Yeah, it started getting pretty damn wet yesterday. I got my car washed and everything yesterday, and then yesterday evening it started raining right on top of the shit. I was like, damn it, man.
And maybe expand this for another year. We're not going to put the Golden Dome in place tomorrow, but maybe look at what's to come afterwards. And with that, not just with Russia, but also look at other countries. There's more.
What's up, Joseph, up there in Canada, my man? Hopefully you're enjoying the morning so far. Great to see you, as always.
That we're worried about. Certainly China's big, but now we're kind of worried about a rogue state called North Korea, which is developing intercontinental ballistic missiles, and as of today, are supposed to be getting a nuclear submarine capability, which will allow it to put a submarine for long trips around the world with nuclear weapons capability, which poses a new strategic threat to the United States.
You mentioned a year. That raises a big question to me. Why extend it for only a year? Why not longer? What's the rationale?
That's a great question, Austin.
The rationale?
Well, the rationale is if we don't have anything lined up certainly if we don't want to increase our number of nuclear weapons, right now what we've been doing is replacing our nuclear weapens, not increasing the total amount. So
yeah, at this point, they're not going to be banking like that, like a motherfucker. And the maintenance on the ship must be insane.
We have no reason to not want to extend it a year if that's the case. And Russia, as I mentioned, can't really do.
Yeah, I mean, if you have like 1,500 nuclear warheads, can you imagine what you got to do on the maintenance side of just maintaining them so that that they'll work when you use it?
Much. They're completely, all their military resources are completely tied up with Ukraine right now. So they don't have any ability to really do much in this arena anyway.
Right. Every single bit is going into fucking the war right now. And I think that we all know that. It's something that we've been talking about for a long time. Real quick, what we're going to do is we do have some breaking news that we're going to talk about real quick because it's only like 4 minutes long. U.S. Secret Service dismantles threat against world leaders. I'm not really sure what this means, but this was breaking about a couple hours ago. So let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys. We'll go ahead and figure out what the hell is going on here. Then we'll go ahead and see what Rubio is saying regarding the UN as Trump was arriving over there in the UN General Assembly. And then we're going to see Trump speak.
Popping this up on your screen, it is a live look over New York City as we are following some breaking news at this hour. The U.S. Secret Service saying...
Oh, shit. We got a freaking raid coming in hot, my man. Thank you so much, Black Dragon. My man coming in hot like that. Very much appreciate you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning, your Topless Taco Tuesday morning. Great to see you. And I'm sorry that I missed the end of your show. You always start your shows, you know what I mean? Like, and you're ending your shows when I'm like just about ending myself. This time, it's only halfway through, so feels ultra good to be a G. Great to see you, my man. Hopefully, everyone that's coming from the Black Dragon side, you guys hit the like button as well as hit that subscribe button. They're both free.
Dismantled a network of electronic devices located throughout the New York tri-state area that were used to conduct multiple telecommunications-related threats directed towards senior U.S. government officials, which represented an imminent threat to the agency's protective operations.
Yeah, at that point, TVT, 1,500. Why would you even need more than that? You wouldn't. It's all about flexing. It's just a flex.
This protective intelligence investigation led to the discovery of more than 300 co-located SIM servers and 100,000 SIM cards across multiple sites. In addition to carrying out anonymous telephonic threats, these devices could be used to conduct a wide range of telecommunication attacks And this could include disabling cell phone towers, enabling denial of services attacks, and facilitating anonymous encrypted communication between potential threat actors and criminal enterprises. Again, all of this information here just coming in from the Secret Service moments ago, and they did post this image here showing some of that.
You know what's funny is I actually saw this picture and video on social media when I woke up this morning, and I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at. I just kept scrolling. Swear to God, I had no idea what the fuck I was even looking at. So it says right here, the Secret Service dismantled a network of more than 300 SIM servers and 100,000 SIM cards in the New York area that were capable of crippling telecom systems and carrying out anonymous telephonic attacks, disrupting the threat before world leaders arrived for the UN General Assembly. Wow, how the fuck did they find this piece of shit room that all this shit is hiding in New York City? I mean, it's just an endless concrete jungle over there in New York. How did you find that? That's crazy.
And equipment. They said the Secret Service dismantled a network of more than 300.
Okay, I just read that. We don't need to hear that. I want to hear.
So just got a video statement that is coming in here from the folks with the United States Secret Service. I do want to play this for you here again.
Hey, Anson, I really appreciate that, by the way. He says, Mike, I really appreciate you giving us entertaining coverage of real news. I can't do regular news anymore because of the overt propaganda. And yeah, man, I really try my damnedest to just show the fact of what is happening. You know what I mean? Not giving you guys like fear mongering or any of that shit. This is like real shit that is happening in real time. And I try to speak in a way that I think that most of you guys speak as well, right? A lot of these news broadcasters and all this shit, they're trained to speak a certain way. They're like fucking politicians. And I am not like that. You know what I mean? I definitely don't have a clean mouth and shit like that can articulate shit that in that kind of way. But I do speak the way that I think that the majority of us speak, right? So thank you for saying that, kind sir. I really appreciate that.
And just coming in from the Secret Service moments ago.
This is Matt McCool, and I'm the special agent in charge of the Secret Service New York field office. We are making this announcement as a matter of public interest given timing, amount, and concentration of material recovered during a recent Secret Service Protective Intelligence investigation. Following multiple telecommunications-related imminent threats directed towards senior U.S. government officials this spring, the U.S. Secret...
And I totally do believe that was specifically there for all these big leaders coming into the United States over there in New York, in Manhattan, specifically for the UN General Assembly. So it's crazy that Secret Service was able to figure this out.
Service began a protective intelligence investigation to determine the extent and impact these threats could have on protective operations. This was a difficult and complex effort to identify the source of these fraudulent calls and the impact on the Secret Service protective mission. During this period, we leveraged technical...
What's up, Lil Paul, by the way? Good morning, and hopefully you're enjoying your, your Taco Tuesday, man. Hopefully you're enjoying
assistance
the day
and
so
support
far.
Of federal partners, including Homeland Security Investigations, the Department of Justice, and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. We also received phenomenal...
Yeah. They're quote-unquote intelligence. Their intel is a whole bunch of fucking rats. Yeah. That is true. That is true. Just speaking it like it is, right?
Phenomenal support from our state and local law enforcement partners, to include the NYPD. The investigation led us to the New York tri-state area, where investigators discovered tens of thousands of co-located and network cellular devices.
How the fuck did you find it, though? Like, it's in a random skyrise in a piece of shit room in a concrete jungle. How the fuck did they find it? By the way, Frederick Frame, good morning, kind sir. Great to see you, by the way. And real quick, we have over there, Shara, is that how you say it? Shara Yami? Great to see you, by the way. It's been a minute. I do remember seeing your name back in the old days on the Twitch side over there. And yes, I used to not stream that game, but I did stream like Crunker. I streamed a whole bunch of Fortnite, all the, you know, the typical mainstream games, World of Warcraft, all that shit, right? But yeah, I had a hiatus, and then once I came back to streaming, I decided to come back onto YouTube and not Twitch. and best decision I ever fucking made. And so definitely come on over here and hang out with all of us at Insane Wheels on YouTube. Make sure you come check us out and hang out. But yeah, great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far.
Is capable of carrying out nefarious telecommunications attacks. These devices allowed anonymous encrypted communications between potential threat actors and criminal enterprises, enabling criminal organizations to operate undetected. This network had the potential to disable cell phone towers and essentially shut down the cellular network.
Wow, it really could take down fucking cell towers and shit. That's fucking crazy. Real quick, we got allegedly in the building saying, morning, Mike, hoping you have a fabulous day in a Teams meeting, listening with one ear. Hi, chat. Hey, allegedly, make sure that, you don't get yourself in trouble or anything like that. I definitely appreciate you hanging out with us, though, and great to see you in the chat.
In New York City. These devices were concentrated within 35 miles of the global meeting of the United Nations General Assembly, now underway in New York City. Given the time.
Right, and we're about to listen to that exact speech from Trump here in a minute.
Location and proximity and potential for significant disruptions to the New York telecom system, we moved quickly to disrupt this network.
That's pretty fucking insane, bro.
To be clear, these recovered devices no longer pose a threat to the New York tri-state area. We will continue working towards identifying those responsible and their intent, including whether their plan was to disrupt the UN General Assembly and communications of government and emergency personnel during the official visit of world leaders in and around New York City. Forensic examinations of the equivalent of 100.
Yeah, very, very typical of these motherfuckers, isn't it, allegedly? You know what's funny is I don't think I'd ever do really well in shit like this because I'm too quick and consolidated in my thinking process and what my statements would be and shit like that. I don't think I would be able to sit there and just spew bullshit and then say the actual fact somewhere in that bullshit somewhere. And then it has to be decoded by someone like me. This is exactly why I do what I do here, is to figure out all the bullshit that they're saying and then speak it what is actually happening, right?
1,000 cell phones worth of data is underway. Early analysis indicates cellular communications between foreign actors and individuals that are known to federal law enforcement.
Thank you, Brother
Given
Steve.
the sensitivity and complexity of this investigation, we are not able to go into specifics at this time. This is an open and active investigation, and we have no arrest to announce today.
No arrests announced today. Wow, so you found all this shit. You don't know who that building is owned by or rented by or any of that shit. You don't have anybody of. Do you have like at least somebody of interest? No? Are you serious? Real quick, we got Chris Lestrange in the building. My man, hopefully you're enjoying, well, for you over there in South Africa, it's not the morning. It is your afternoon, so appreciate you as well. We got Edward Robert saying, Mike Ball, great show. I very much appreciate that. I probably butchered your first name there. I'm sorry. I apologize about that. I'm very illiterate, so, it's my fault. Just is what it is, right?
Rather, this announcement is designed to safeguard critical infrastructure and responsibly provide the public what we can at this time. The Secret Service will continue to...
Yeah, that's fucking crazy, bro. Allegedly says that's bullshit. Yeah, that is bullshit. How did you find all this shit, but you don't have any idea who the fuck it is? What? There's some context missing here. And this is usually what I explain as well. A lot of the reasons why conspiracy theories even start in the very first place is the lack of transparency from the U.S. government. That's usually what it is. Now, of course, here's the problem in this. A lot of times we want transparency right away, and a lot of times they can't give out that transparency because they're under an investigation at that very moment. So people take it upon their own hands to be able to come up with reasons onto why this is happening and try to connect the dots, right? But the key is to wait for the facts, right? As much as we can, because of course, is everything going to be coming out that's going to be fact? Of course not. Not the entire truth is coming out, right? So real quick, I do have something that Marco Rubio states right before Trump gets onto stage. He got onto Fox and Friends this morning, and he gets there and he has a little spiel about how Rubio says the UN has no role as Trump attends United Nations General Assembly, and he's very right. They don't have a role, just like any of these other motherfuckers don't got a role. No, they don't.
One of the things the president's going to have to address and is going to address is the UN itself. And that is, why do we still have a UN? It has tremendous potential.
I agree. Fuck them. Get rid of the UN, get rid of NATO, get rid of the EU. They're all fucking ops, dude. They're all taken from the U.S. tax dollar, dude. It's bullshit.
The UN is an organization that has the potential to do some great things around the world, but it's not doing it. If you look at Russia and Ukraine, you have a war going on there. It's the president that's been carrying the burden of trying to bring it to an end. The UN is playing no role. If you look at what's happening in Gaza with Hamas and everything that's happened there with Israel taking them on, what role is the UN playing? None. We're going to try here, and even as...
Real quick, we got Two-Wheel Jesus in the building, as well as allegedly saying, love Rubio, hate his ears. Yes, I think that is funny. That is pretty fucking funny. Real quick, we got Gorilla Biscuits gifting out a Mike Ball membership. Not only helping me, but you're helping someone in the Breakfast Club, man. So I very much appreciate you making it rain on all of us, man. Thank you very much for your support, man.
Close to home in the Western Hemisphere, in a place like Haiti, that's been overrun by gangs that control that country and has destabilized the region. The U.S. is asking for the UN to step up and play a very important role. We have a lot of support, but it looks like China might stand in the way of this effort to bring that about. The UN will play no role if they do that. So I think what the president's going to do is challenge the UN to find its meaning and its purpose and its utility.
That's good. That's good. I hope he does. And we're going to find out here right after this video. We're going to end off with Trump and his speech, because you know it's not going to be a 15-minute speech. You know he's going to go up there for a minute.
As an organization, because it doesn't seem to be doing the job, and it's pretty good at spending a lot of money. I think you can anticipate the president will point to his own history with the UN, going back to his time here as a developer, where he actually offered to fix the UN building, and instead they chose to go in another direction, wasted a bunch of money, and really didn't achieve on the building's perspective what needed to happen. And I think it's emblematic of how feckless the UN has become as an organization. It's just a place where once a year a bunch of people meet and give speeches and write out a bunch.
Well, and not only that, but he's very right. It's all used as a political fucking tool. And like I've explained how all this shit is political theater, it is. All of this shit is political theater. All right, so speaking of political theater, let's go ahead and get into it now. Let's go ahead and see what Trump says over there in the UN, the General Assembly. So check it out. What I did is, instead of us listening to all the other speakers and they go on for fucking like an hour and a half each, instead of that, we're going straight to the point. We're getting right when Trump sits down at the podium. And for all, transparency here, I haven't seen this, so I don't know what is to be expected or said here. But I really do hope he makes us proud.
Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter, because the
teleprompter
is not working.
Oh, it's just not even working, so fuck him. He's like, we spend almost $1 trillion, $990 billion per year to the UN, or to stuff like NATO and shit like that. And we also do have some bullshit interactions with the United Nations as well. But I'd be like, you guys are funded by all the Arabic countries in the world. You're funded by all this bullshit, and yet you guys can't get a working teleprompter, bro.
I feel very happy to be up here with you, nevertheless. And that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
Shit. He's getting fired today. Motherfucker getting fired.
Hello, Madam First Lady. Thank you very much for being here. And Madam President, Mr. Secretary General, First Lady of the United States, distinguished delegates, ambassadors, and world leaders. 6 years have passed since I last stood in this grand hall and addressed a world that was prosperous and at...
Damn, did he say 6 years?
Passed since I last stood in this grand hall and addressed a world that was prosperous and at peace in my first term. Since that day, the guns of war have shattered the peace I forged on 2 continents. An era of calm and stability gave way to one of the great crises of our time. And here in the United States, 4 years of weakness, lawlessness, and radicalism under the last administration delivered our nation into a repeated set of disasters. 1 year ago, our country was in deep trouble, but today, just 8 months into my administration, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world.
I hate when he fucking says that in his speeches. Fucking, we know that. Stop it, bro. Makes us look weak in that position.
And there is no other country even close. America is blessed with the strongest economy, the strongest borders, the strongest military, the strongest friendships, and the strongest spirit of any nation on the face of the earth. This is indeed the golden age of America. We are rapidly reversing the economic calamity.
Yes, real quick, guys, make sure you guys do me a huge favor and hit the like button. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. I very much appreciate your laborious work on that. And yes, we do have a little PSA for you.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
All right, now that everyone's brainwashed, back into it.
We inherited from the previous administration, including ruinous price increases and record-setting inflation. Inflation like we've never had before. Under my leadership, energy costs are down, gasoline prices are down, grocery prices are down, mortgage rates are down, and inflation has been defeated. The only
Melania there too.
thing that's up is the stock market, which just hit a record high. In fact, it hit a record high 48 times in the last short period of time. Growth is surging, manufacturing is booming. The stock market, as I said, is doing better than it's ever done. And all of you in this room benefit by that, almost everybody. And importantly, workers' wages are rising at the fastest pace in more than 60 years. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? In 4 years of President Biden, we had less than $1 trillion of new investment into the United States. In just 8 months since I took office.
Real quick, we got Scody over there on the the Twitch side of things. Man, you know, I don't even think that I got my Nightbot and all that shit connected to that shit anymore, Scody. So my apologies. But hopefully you're enjoying the morning. Great to see you over there on the Twitch side of the equation. But all of us, all the homies and shit like that, we're over here on YouTube. Come hang out with us at Insane Wheels. And yeah, it'd be great to see you in the chat with us.
We have secured commitments and money already paid for $17 trillion. Think of it, 4 years, less than $1 trillion, 8 months, much more than $17 trillion is being invested in the United States. And it's now pouring in from all parts of the world. We've implemented the largest tax cuts in American history and the largest regulation cuts in American history, making this once and again the best country on earth to do business. And many of the people in this room are investing in America, and it's turned out to be an awfully good investment during this 8-month period. In my first term, I built the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had the best economy ever, history of the world. And I'm doing the same thing again, but this time it's actually much bigger and even better. The numbers far surpass my record-setting first term. On our southern border, we have successfully repelled a colossal invasion. And for the last 4 months, and that's 4 months in a row.
Which is true.
The number of illegal aliens admitted and entering our country has been 0. Hard to believe.
Yeah, I really agree with that, allegedly. I think everyone's in tune. If we're the so-called hottest country in the world, everyone, you don't need to tell, like, if you're the hottest motherfucker in the basketball team, you don't need to tell everyone you're the best motherfucking basketball player on the team, right? Everyone observes, everyone knows that shit. Hey, he's the best. That guy right there, we know everything that's going on right there. So you really don't have to reiterate shit. But one thing about politics that I have found out is the more you speak on certain things, even though it may be repetitive, annoying to someone like us, to the general public, if you just say it enough times, shit magically becomes true. That's just kind of like how it just is. And so I like to call shit out like that. You know what I mean? But anyways.
Because if you look back just a year ago, it was millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, from prisons, from mental institutions, drug dealers. All over the world they came. They just poured into our country with the ridiculous open border policy of the Biden administration. Our message is very simple. If you come illegally into the United States, you're going to jail, or you're going back to where you came from, or perhaps even further than that. You know what that means? I want to thank the country of El Salvador for the successful and professional job they've done in receiving and jailing so many.
Yeah, shit. The last time I played World of Warcraft was during Shadowlands. So it's been a long time for me as well. And taking the authenticator off, yeah, you probably got to know someone at Blizzard to be able to take that motherfucker off without having it.
Many criminals that entered our country, and it was under the previous administration that the number became record-setting, and they're all being taken out. We have no choice. And other countries have no choice because other countries are in the exact same situation with immigration. It's destroying your country.
Yeah, like
and
UK.
You have to do something about it.
Like
On the world
France.
stage, America is respected again like it has never been respected before.
Like Germany. Like Canada. Shit. Eventually, everyone's going to be chic up there up in Canada. You know what I mean?
You think
or whatever.
about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or 1 year ago, we were a laughingstock all over the world. At the NATO summit in June, virtually all NATO members formally committed to increase defense spending at my request from 2% to 5% of GDP, making our alliance far stronger and more powerful than it was ever before. In May, I traveled to the Middle East to visit my friends and rebuild our partnerships in the Gulf, and those valued relationships with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE and other countries are now, I believe, closer than ever before. My administration has negotiated one historic trade deal after another, including with the United Kingdom, the European Union.
Yes, I mean, we are up to tens of trillions of dollars already invested in the United States. We know that, and I think everyone else in this room knows that too.
Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, the Philippines, Malaysia, and many, many others. Likewise, in a period of just 7 months, I have ended 7 unendable wars. They said they were unendable.
Bro, can we just get to the point, please? Okay, he doesn't speak that super long, but I am going to skip ahead a little bit. He's doing a little too much patting on the back here.
Not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN is...
Okay, here we go. Now we're getting somewhere.
...to help in any of them. I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. But she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations. A bad escalator and a bad teleprompter.
A bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Fuck. That's what he got from the UN. That sounds about right. That's what everybody pays for right there. Bottom of the barrel bullshit.
Thank you very much. And by the way, it's working now. It just went on. Thank you.
The fucking teleprompters are now on.
I think I should just do it the other way. It's easier. Thank you very much. I didn't think of it at the time because I was too busy working to save millions of lives. That is the saving and stopping of these wars. But later I realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there. I thought of it really after.
Of course not. Of course they're not there for you and us. No, they have a different obligation, different allegiance, and ties to. And it is definitely not us. Actually, we're the opposition.
The fact, not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous potential, but it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. For the most part, at least for now, all they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war. The only thing that solves war and wars is action. Now, after ending all of these wars and also earlier negotiating the Abraham Accords, which is a very big thing for which our country received no credit, never receives credit. Everyone says that I should get the Nobel Peace Prize for each one of these achievements. But for me, the real prize will be the sons and daughters who live to grow up with their mothers and fathers, because millions of people are no longer being killed in endless and unglorious wars. What I care about is not winning prizes, it's saving lives. We saved millions and millions of lives with the 7 wars. And we have others that we're working on, and you know that. Many years ago, a very successful real estate developer in New York, known as Donald J. Trump, I bid on the renovation and rebuilding of this very United Nations complex. I remember it so well. I said at the time that I would do it for $500 million, rebuilding everything. It would be beautiful. I used to talk about, I'm going to give you marble floors. They're going to give you terrazzo. I'm going to give you the best of everything. You're going to have mahogany walls. They're going to give you plastic. But they decided to go in another direction, which was much more expensive at the time, and which actually produced a far inferior product. And I realized that they did not know what they were doing when it came to construction, and that their building concepts were so wrong, and the product that they were proposing to build was so bad and so costly. It was going to cost them a fortune. And I said, and wait till you see the overruns. Well, I turned out to be right. They had massive cost overruns and spent between $2 and $4 billion on the building and did not even get the marble floors that I promised them. You walk on terrazzo. Do you notice that? As far as I'm concerned, frankly, looking at the building and getting stuck on the escalator, they still haven't finished the job. They still haven't finished. That was years ago.
He's fucking pissed.
The project was so corrupt that Congress actually asked me to testify before them on the tremendous waste of money, because it turned out that they had no idea what it was, but they knew it was anywhere between $2 and $4 billion as opposed to $500 million with a guarantee. But they had no idea, and I said it cost much more than $5 billion. Unfortunately, many things in the United Nations are happening just like that, but on an even much bigger scale, much, much bigger. Very sad to see. Whether the UN can manage to play a productive role, I've come here today to offer the hand of American leadership and friendship to any nation in this assembly that is willing to join us in forging a safer, more prosperous world. And it's a world that will...
So how do we do that, though, Trump?
...be much happier with. A dramatically better future is within our reach. But to get there, we must reject the failed approaches of the past and work together to confront some of the greatest threats.
I do agree that, and a failed approach such as the two-state solution over there in Israel. It's just attempted and it failed.
In history, there is no more serious danger to our planet today than the most powerful and destructive weapons ever devised by man, of which the United States, as you know, has many. Just as I did in my first term, I've made containing these threats a top priority, starting with the nation of Iran. My position is very simple. The world's #1 sponsor of terror can never be allowed to possess the most dangerous weapon. That's why, shortly after taking office, I sent the so-called Supreme Leader a letter making a generous offer. I extended a pledge of full cooperation in exchange for a suspension of Iran's nuclear program. The regime's answer was to continue their constant threats to their neighbors and U.S. interests throughout the region and some great countries that are right nearby. Today, many of Iran's former military commanders, in fact, I can say almost all of them, are no longer with us. They're dead. And 3 months ago, in Operation Midnight Hammer, 7 American B-2 bombers dropped the 14 30,000-pound each bombs on Iran's key nuclear facilities, totally.
Right, and those have been in production since 2009, specifically for that exact mountain that was basically bombed by us, by our B-2s. And there was 14 used, 30,000-pound bunker busters, and these were specifically made for that operation and in place since 2009, and we just used them in 2025. That's some fucking mind-blowing shit, bro.
Obliterating everything. No other country on earth could have done what we
did. What's up, Brown Chicken, my man? Great to see you.
We have the greatest weapons on earth. We hate to use them, but we did something that for 22 years people wanted to do. With Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity demolished, I immediately brokered an end to the 12-day war as it's...
Shit. What's up, Naomi? Hopefully you're, now well-rested. Hopefully. Great to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning.
...call between Israel and Iran, with both sides agreeing to fight no longer. As everyone knows, I have also been deeply engaged in seeking a ceasefire in Gaza. Have to get that done. Have to get it done. Unfortunately, Hamas has repeatedly rejected reasonable offers to make peace. We can't forget October 7th, can we? Now, as if to encourage continued conflict, some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. This would be a reward for these horrible atrocities, including October 7th, even while they refuse to release the hostages or accept a ceasefire. Instead of giving to Hamas and giving so much, because they've taken so much, they have taken so much. This could have been solved so long ago. But instead of giving in to Hamas's ransom demands, those who want peace should be united with one message: release the hostages now. Just release the hostages now.
Yeah, but we all know that Hamas is not going to be releasing those hostages. We do know that. That's not going to happen. That is their one and only piece of leverage that they have. And even though the truth be told is Israel doesn't care about them like that. This has now they've sadly become a political pawn to be able to give them the excuse to be able to do what they're doing. And Hamas knows if they give up those hostages, that's it. Boom, they're gone. They know that. So you have to be logical when you're thinking about these situations, right? They're a lot more complex. You got to be as deep as an ocean to really understand this shit. You can't be as deep as an ashtray, right?
Thank you. As we have got to come together, and we will come together, got to get it done. We have to stop the war in Gaza immediately. We have to stop it. We have to get it done. We have to negotiate.
Basically, it's regarding what I would assume the Palestinian state recognition from Western countries, such as UK, France, soon to be Australia, soon to be Canada. That is primarily why this is happening right now.
Immediately have to negotiate peace. We got to get the hostages back. We want all 20 back. We don't want 2 and 4. As you know, I got, along with Steve Witkoff and others that helped us, Marco Rubio, we got most of them back. We were involved in all of them. But I always said the last 20 are going to be the hardest, and that's exactly what happened. We have to get them back now. We don't want to get back 2, and then another 2, and then 1, and then 3. Have this process. No, we want them all back, and we want the actually 38 dead bodies back too. Those parents came to me, and they want them back, and they want them back very quickly and very badly, as though they were alive. They want them. They want them every bit as much as if their son or daughter were alive. I've also been working relentlessly, stopping the killing in Ukraine. I thought that would be of the 7.
I very much agree with this, Bob. 100%. America only. Like what I say. America only.
Wars that I stopped.
Our fucking money should be staying here in America. You know what I mean? Like, it should be doing us good here.
I thought that would be the easiest because of my relationship with President Putin, which had always been a good one. I thought that was going to be the easiest one. But you know, in war, you never know what's going to happen. There are always lots of surprises, both good and bad. Everyone thought Russia would win this war in 3 days, but it didn't work out that way. It was supposed to be just a quick little skirmish. It's not making Russia look good. It's making them look bad. No matter what happens from here on out, this was something that should have taken a matter of days, certainly less than a week. And they've been fighting for 3.5 years and killing anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 young soldiers, mostly soldiers, on both sides, every single week, from 5,000 to 7,000 dead young people. And some in cities, much smaller numbers, where rockets are shot, where drones are dropped. This war would never have started if I were president. This was a war that should have never happened. It shows you what leadership is, what bad leadership can do to a country. Look what happened to the United States, and look where we are right now in just a short period of time. The only question now is how many more lives will be needlessly lost on both sides. China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil, but inexcusably.
Exactly. It's definitely something that we should be keeping our money here. End of story.
Even NATO countries have not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products, which, as you know, I found out about 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't happy. Think of it. They're funding the war against themselves. Who the hell ever heard of that one? In the event that Russia is not ready to make a deal to end the war, then the United States is fully prepared to impose a very strong round of powerful tariffs, which would stop the bloodshed, I believe, very quickly. But for those tariffs to be effective, European nations, all of you are gathered here right now, would have to join us in adopting the exact same measures. I mean, you're much closer to this. We have an ocean in between. You're right there. And Europe has to step it up. They can't be doing what they're doing. They're buying oil and gas from Russia.
They're all filming from their phones and shit.
While they're fighting Russia. It's embarrassing to them. And it was very embarrassing to them when I found out about it, I can tell you that. They have to immediately cease all energy purchases from Russia. Otherwise, we're all wasting a lot of time. So I'm ready to discuss this. We're going to discuss it today with the European nations, all gathered here. I'm sure they're thrilled to hear me speak about it, but that's the way it is. I like to speak my mind and speak the truth as we seek to reduce the threat of dangerous weapons.
Which is something that we as Americans like.
Today, I'm also calling on every nation to join us in ending the development of biological weapons once and for all. And biological is terrible, and nuclear is even beyond, and we include nuclear in that. We want to have a cessation of the development of nuclear weapons. We know, and I get to view it all the time. Sir, would you like to see? And I look at weapons that are so powerful that we just can't ever use them. If we ever use them, the world literally might come to an end. There would be no United Nations to be talking about. There would be no nothing. Just a few years ago, reckless experiments overseas gave us a devastating global pandemic. Yet despite that worldwide catastrophe, many countries are continuing extremely risky research into bioweapons and man-made pathogens. This is unbelievably dangerous. To prevent potential disasters, I'm announcing today that my administration will lead an international effort to enforce biological weapons convention, which is going to be meeting with the top leaders of the world by pioneering an AI verification system that everyone can trust. Hopefully the UN can play a constructive role, and it will also be one of the early projects under AI. Let's see how good it is, because a lot of people are saying it could be one of the great things ever, but it also can be dangerous, but it could be put to tremendous use and tremendous good, and this would be an example of that. Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the #1 political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is supporting people.
Man, Trump does a really good job at this shit. He is fucking an ace.
That are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens. Can you believe that?
I bet all these people in this room right now fucking hate him right now. They're like, fuck, just get off the stage, shut up. We don't want to hear this shit anymore. I guarantee it.
On the way to infiltrate our southern...
Because everything that Trump is saying goes pretty much against the United Nations ideology and what they do.
Border. Millions of people came through that southern border. Just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, 25 million altogether over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden administration. And now we have it stopped, totally stopped. In fact, they're not even coming anymore because they know they can't get through. But what took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them and not finance them. In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to travel halfway around the world, trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated crime, and deplete our social safety net. We have reasserted that America belongs to the American people, and I encourage all countries to take their own stand in defense of their citizens as well. You have to do that because I see it. I'm not mentioning names. I see it, and I could call every single one of them out. You're destroying your countries. They're being destroyed.
Mexico's being fucking focused on hard.
Europe is in serious trouble. They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Nobody is ever, and nobody's doing anything to change it, to get them out.
Well, yeah, but that's not nothing new. That's something they've been dealing with for the last 15 fucking years.
It's not sustainable. And because they choose to be politically correct, they're doing just absolutely nothing about it. And I have to say, I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor.
Germany is, I mean, they're one of those invaded countries right now. I mean, totally invaded. And look at their faces. Look at their faces here. They're all, this guy's all fucking pissed off. You can tell he's like, well, fuck this guy. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are all fucking pissed and bummed out.
And I have to say, I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor. And it's been so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law. But you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. They cannot.
True.
This cannot be sustained.
No, he's very right. You're going to lose your complete identity as a country. Absolutely. Multiple countries are going through it right now. And of course, where are they all invading to? Western countries, right? Isn't that odd?
The world's so beautiful is that each country is unique.
If you love your ideology and all your shit so fucking much, stay in your shit. But no, they invade Western countries. Ironic.
But to stay this way, every sovereign nation must have the right to control their own borders. You have the right to control your borders, as we do now, and to limit the sheer numbers of migrants entering their countries and paid for by the people of that nation that were there and that built that particular nation at the time. They put their blood, sweat, tears, money into that country, and now they're being ruined. Proud nations must be allowed to protect their communities and prevent their societies from being overwhelmed by people they have never seen before, with different customs,
100%.
religions, with different everything. Where migrants have violated laws, lodged false asylum claims, or claimed refugee status for illegitimate reasons, they should, in many cases, be immediately sent home. And while we will always have a big heart for places and people that are struggling and truly compassionate, answers will be given. We have to solve the problem, and we have to solve it in their countries, not create new problems in our countries. And we are very helpful to a lot of countries that are just not able to send their people anymore. They used to send them to us in caravans of 25, 30,000 people each. These massive caravans of people pouring into our country, totally unchecked and unvetted. But not anymore.
Crazy.
According to the Council of...
It's absolutely crazy that is any supported ideology to allow invasions like that in your country. I just don't understand that. You must hate your fucking self. You must hate your country. You must hate your nation. You must hate what you and your ethics and your morals stand for.
Europe in 2024, almost 50% of inmates in German prisons were foreign nationals or migrants. In Austria, the number was 53% of the people in prisons were from places that weren't from where they are now. In Greece, the number was 54%. And in Switzerland, beautiful Switzerland, 72% of the people in prisons are from outside of Switzerland. When your prisons are filled with so-called asylum seekers who repaid kindness, and that's what they did. They repaid kindness with crime. It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. I can tell you. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America, we've taken bold action to swiftly shut down uncontrolled migration. Once we started detaining and deporting everyone who crossed the border and removing illegal aliens from the United States, they simply stopped coming. They're not coming anymore. We're getting a lot of credit, but they're not coming anymore. This was a humanitarian act for all involved, because on the trips up, thousands of people a week were dying. Women were being raped. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Raped, horribly beaten, raped. On the trip up, the journey up, it was a long walk. It was a long, arduous journey, indeed. It was also a historic victory against human trafficking throughout the region. What we did was a victory, and we saved so many lives of people that wouldn't make the journey. That journey was loaded up with death. Loaded up with death. Dead bodies all along the roads of jungles. To get up, they go through jungles, they go through areas so hot you couldn't breathe. They were dying of suffocation, areas so hot that you couldn't breathe. Dead bodies all over. By them not coming, we're saving tremendous numbers of lives. My people have done a fantastic job in doing what they did, and the American public agrees with it. I mean, I was very proud to see this morning I have the highest poll numbers I've ever had. Part of it is because of what we've done on the border. I guess the other part is what we've done in the economy. Joe Biden's policies empowered murderous gangs, human smugglers, child traffickers, drug cartels, and prisoners from all over the world. The previous administration also lost nearly 300,000 children. Think of that. They lost more than 300,000 children, little children, who were trafficked into the United States on the Biden watch, many of whom have been raped, exploited, and abused, and sold. Sold. Nobody talks about that. The fake news doesn't write about it. With many others, young children who are missing or dead. And we found a lot of these children, and we're sending them back.
That's right, Naomi.
Sending them back to their parents. They said,
thank you.
Nobody knows who they are. They said, where do you come from? And they'll give us a country, and we'll find out, and we'll figure it out, and we'll bring them back to their homes. And the mother and father rush to the door, and their tears in their eyes. They can't believe that they're seeing their son or daughter, their little son or daughter again. We've done almost 30,000 of them so far. Any system that results in the mass trafficking of children is inherently evil. Yet that is exactly what the globalist migration agenda has done, and it's what it's all about. In America, those days, as you know, are over. The Trump administration is working, and we are continuing to work to track down the villains that are causing this problem. And also, as I said, to get back the 30,000 we've already returned. Now I think we're going to have another. We're going to find a lot. You're not going to find all of them. 300, more than 300,000. They're lost or they're dead. They're lost or they're dead because of the animals that did this. To protect our citizens, I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as and you see this, and you see it happening right before your eyes. Let's put it this way. People don't like taking big loads of drugs in boats anymore. There aren't too many boats that are traveling on the seas by Venezuela. They tend not to want to travel very quickly anymore. And we've virtually stopped drugs coming into our country by sea. We call them the water drugs. They kill hundreds of thousands of people. I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as foreign terrorist organizations, along with two bloodthirsty transnational gangs, probably the worst gangs anywhere in the world, MS-13 and Tren de Aragua. Tren de Aragua is from Venezuela, by the way. Such organizations torture, maim, mutilate, and murder with impunity. They're the enemies of all humanity. For this reason, we've recently begun using the supreme power of the United States military to destroy Venezuela terrorists and trafficking networks led by Nicolas Maduro. To every terrorist thug smuggling poisonous drugs into the United States of America, please be warned that we will blow you out of existence. That's what we're doing. We have no choice. Can't let it happen. They're destroying. I believe we lost 300,000 people last year to drugs, 300,000. Fentanyl and other drugs. Each boat that we sink carries drugs that would kill
300,000 people. Probably from like fentanyl and shit like that, but like as a majority. But 300,000 people. That's so fucking gnarly in a year.
More than 25,000 Americans. We will not let that happen. Energy is another area where the United States is now thriving like never before. We're getting rid of the falsely named renewables. By the way, they're a joke. They don't work. They're too expensive. They're not strong enough to fire up the plants that you need to make your country great. The wind doesn't blow. Those big windmills are so pathetic and so bad, so expensive to operate. And they have to be rebuilt all the time, and they start to rust and rot. Most expensive energy ever conceived, and it's actually energy. You're supposed to make money with energy, not lose money. You lose money, the governments have to subsidize. You can't put them out without massive subsidies. And most of them are built in China, and I give China a lot of credit. They build them, but they have very few wind farms. So why is it that they build them and they send them all over the world, but they barely use them? You know what they use? Coal. They use gas. They use almost anything, but they don't like wind. But they sure as hell like selling the windmills. Europe, on the other hand, has a long way to go, with many countries being on the brink of destruction because of the green energy agenda. And I give a lot of credit to Germany. Germany was being led down a very sick path, both on immigration, by the way, and on energy. They were going green, and they were going bankrupt. And the new leadership came in, and they went back to where they were, with fossil fuel and with nuclear, which is good. It's now safe, and you can do it properly. but they went back to where they were, and they opened up a lot of different plants, energy-producing plants, and they're doing well. I give Germany a lot of credit.
If you guys haven't hit the like button already, please make sure you guys do that for us. We're going a little longer than expected because this is an important speech. He's not too much further until he's done, actually. He's only got a little bit left here. I believe here, let's see, so it ends at 1:07. So he's got another 20 minutes of speaking, but we're at 1.5 playback speed. So it'll essentially only be, what, 15 minutes? 14 minutes? I don't know, something like that.
For that. They've said this is a disaster, what's happening. They were going all green. All green is all bankrupt. That's what it represents. And it's not politically correct. I'll be very badly criticized for saying it, but I'm here to tell the truth. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm in New York City. I'm feeling...
Oh, hell yeah. That's awesome. We got 42 of you guys in here, and we got 47 likes. That's a big W. Hell yeah, sending them out today. You know what I mean? Shit. Bam, bam, bam. Shit. Feels ultra good to be a G. Appreciate you guys. Chat always wins, man.
Let's say for crime, we're getting crime down. And by the way, speaking of crime, Washington, D.C.
What's up, Big E? Shit. Real quick, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday so far, my man. And great to see you over there on the Twitch side. We've actually had some decent people come, decent amount of people come through on the Twitch side today, which is surprising because everyone's usually over here on the YouTube side of things. But great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far. And yes, you got to come hang out with us on the YouTube side, by the way. That's where all of us actually hang out. At Insane Wheels. I'd love to see you in the chat, bro. Great to see you. And hopefully you're having a good morning so far.
Was the crime capital of America. Now it's after 12 days, it's a totally safe city. Everyone's going out to dinner. They're going out to restaurants. Your wife can walk down the middle of the street. With or without you, nothing's going to happen. My people have done a fantastic job. And yes, I called in the National Guard, and the National Guard took care of business.
Hell yeah, Hardwire. My man, there's been a lot of crazy information this stream, for damn sure. A lot of shit going on.
As I said, they weren't politically correct, but they took care of business. We got 1,700 career criminals out, brought them back to where they came from, the countries where they came from, or put them in jails. Washington, D.C. is now...
Real quick, yeah, BD, I think Glare accidentally got banned or hidden from your channel. I don't think banned, but I think he got hidden by somebody, and no one can unhide him. You would have to do it. But yeah, just saying.
A totally safe city again, and I welcome you to come. In fact, we'll have dinner together at a local restaurant, and we'll be able to walk. We don't have to go by an armor-plated vehicle. We'll walk right over there from the White House. They've given up their powerful edge, a lot of the countries that we're talking about, in oil and gas, such as essentially closing the great North Sea oil. Oh, the North Sea, I know it so well. Aberdeen was the oil capital of Europe, and there's tremendous oil that hasn't been found in the North Sea. Tremendous oil. And I was with the Prime Minister I respect and like a lot, and I said, you're sitting with the greatest asset. They essentially closed it by making it so highly taxed that no developer, no oil company can go there. They have tremendous oil left, and more importantly, they have tremendous oil that hasn't even been found yet. And what a tremendous asset for the United Kingdom. And
right, so you're not banned, but you got hidden on the channel. So yeah, you'll have to be unhidden.
I hope the Prime Minister is listening, because I told it to him 3 days in a row. That's all he heard. North Sea oil, North Sea, because I want to see them do well. I want to stop seeing them ruining that beautiful Scottish and English countryside with windmills and massive solar panels that go 7 miles by 7 miles, taking away farmland. But we're not letting this happen in America. In 1982, the executive director of the United Nations Environmental Program predicted that by the year 2000, climate change would cause a global catastrophe. He said that it will be irreversible, as any nuclear holocaust would be. This is what they said at the United Nations. What happened? Here we are. Another UN official stated in 1989 that within a decade, entire nations could be wiped off the map by global warming. Not happening. You know, it used to be global cooling. If you look back years ago in the 1920s and the 1930s, they said, global cooling will kill the world.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know that, Glare, that you can be banned and still have a membership. I didn't even know that.
We have to do something.
Good info.
Then they said global warming will kill the world, but then it started getting cooler, so now they could just call it climate change, because that way they can't miss. It's climate change, because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate.
It is, and everyone else in there is laughing, but it's true. All this green energy fucking save the world bullshit is actually way more harmful and way bigger of a fucking scam than anything. It's just as big of a scam as fucking insurance.
Because that way they can't miss. It's climate change. Because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion.
Big W for Trump. Real quick, we got Go Fast Racing in the building. Great to see you, by the way. Hopefully you are enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday so far. We're doing a special today. He's only got a little bit left to go here, but we're going over our normal allotted time, you know?
Climate change, no matter what happens, you're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling. All of these predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often for bad reasons, were wrong. They were made by stupid people that have cost their countries fortunes and given those same countries no chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. And I'm really good at predicting things, you know? They actually said during the campaign they had a hat, the best-selling hat. Trump was right about everything. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything. And I'm telling you that if you don't get away from the green energy scam, your country is going to fail. And if you don't stop people that you've never seen before, that you have nothing in common with, your country is going to fail. I'm the president of the United States, but I worry about Europe. I love Europe. I love the people of Europe. And I hate to see it being
good on him for saying that, too.
Devastated by energy and immigration. This double-tailed monster destroys everything in its wake, and they cannot let that happen any longer. You're doing it because you want to be nice. You want to be politically correct, and you're destroying your heritage. They must take control strongly and immediately of the unmitigated immigration disaster and the fake energy catastrophe before it's too late. The carbon footprint is a hoax made up by people with evil intentions, and they're heading down a path of total destruction. You know, the carbon footprint was a big...
You know, sadly, Mountain Woman, I really do think you're correct.
...thing a few years ago. I remember hearing about the carbon footprint, and then President Obama would get into Air Force One, a massive Boeing 747, and not a new one, an old one with old engines that spew everything into the atmosphere. He'd talk about the carbon footprint, we must do something. Then he'd get in, and he'd fly from Washington to Hawaii to play a round of golf. And then he'd get back onto that big, beautiful plane, and he'd fly back, and he'd talk about, again, global warming and the carbon footprint. It's a con job. At extreme cost and expense, Europe reduced its own carbon footprint by 37%. Think of that. Congratulations, Europe. Great job. You cost yourself a lot of jobs, a lot of factories closed, but you reduced the carbon footprint by 37%. However, for all of that sacrifice and much more, it's been totally wiped out and then some by a global increase of 54%. Much of it coming from China and other countries that are thriving around China, which now produces more CO2 than all the other developed nations in the world. So all of these countries are working so hard on the carbon footprint, which is nonsense, by the way. It's nonsense. You know, it's interesting. In the United States, we have still radicalized environmentalists, and they want the factories to stop. Everything should stop. No more cows. We don't want cows anymore. I guess they want to kill all the cows. They want to do things that are just unbelievable, and you have it too. But you know, we have a border strong, and we have a shape.
Yeah, that's right, you guys. Don't hit the like button. Make sure you hot the like button for sure. Very much appreciate that, Naomi.
And that shape doesn't just go straight up. That shape is amorphous when it comes to the atmosphere. And if we had the most clean air, and I think we do, we have very clean air. We have the cleanest air we've had in many, many years. But the problem is that other countries, like China, which has air that's a little bit rough, it blows. And no matter what you're doing down here, the air up here tends to get very dirty because it comes in from other countries where their air isn't so clean. And the environmentalists refuse to acknowledge that. Same thing with garbage. In Asia, they dump much of their garbage right into the ocean. And over about a 1 week and 2 week journey, it flows right past Los Angeles. You've seen it. Massive amounts of garbage, almost too much to do anything about, flowing past Los Angeles, past San Francisco. And then somebody will get in trouble because he dropped a cigarette on the beach. The whole thing is crazy. The primary effect of these brutal green energy policies has not been to help the environment, but to redistribute manufacturing and industrial...
I appreciate that, Brother Slim. Always appreciate it.
...activity from developed countries that follow the insane rules that are put down to polluting countries that break the rules and are making a fortune. They're making a fortune. European electricity bills are now 4 to 5 times more expensive than those in China, and 2 to 3 times higher than the United States. And our bills are coming way down. You probably see that our gasoline prices are way down. You know, we have an expression, drill.
Nós reduzimos os custos de energia porque
nós
faremos como a expressão.
What are they doing?
Vamos fazer tudo isso, reduzir os custos de energia e os custos.
What in the fuck is happening?
Diminuir nos países unidos. A agenda mundialista não tem nenhum.
Provided by try it from the
societies must be extending to stop.
Aumento da temperatura, porque é muito caro também usar.
I want to see how this ends.
Pretending to stop the global hoax.
A
industrialized nation.
Esse agenda mundialista.
What in the fuck?
Isso não tem nenhum sentido.
Entire societies must be rejected.
All right, so it does sound as though that feed of President Trump that is being provided by the United Nations is now switching to...
Totally sabotaged, Biggie. Oh my God, that shit was fucking radical, bro.
Oh my God!
Hey, it is what it is, right? Let's hear what the ending is here.
In several languages for some reason. We are trying to get it from another source, so we are going to try it from this one. This is Reuters to see if that.
From that post.
President Trump refuses meetings with Democrats over shutdown. Oh shit! This is just breaking an hour ago. Man, all right. Well, shit, ladies and gentlemen, that was a fantastic way to end the show. Yeah, am I on drugs? No, I was sitting there like, man, did I smoke a little too much? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like questioning myself. I don't know. I got to look back on the video how my face must have been. I must have been like really trying to figure it out there for a second. That's super funny. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for being here. You guys could have been anywhere else in the world, but you guys decided to be right here with me, man. I can't thank you guys enough for that. Listen, stick around for the raid. We're going to be raiding our buddy Flow State. His name is Powder Dusty on his new channel. He's actually doing fantastic. Oh wait, he just fucking ended, of course, right when I would say that, right? So we're going to have to find someone else. Let's see who else is live right now. Dusty went live on a different live. So he is live, but just on a different live stream now. So yes, we're going to be sending you guys over to Flow State. Make sure you guys let them know that we're coming in through with the Mike Ball raid and have a good time. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out. Helps out the show immensely. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness as we continue on searching for the truth here on this channel. Can't thank you guys enough for making all of these very shows happen. I can't do this shit without you guys. So anyways, with that much being said, much love, honor, respect to everybody, and God bless everybody.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.